guys, 8mm Mauser man here. I had a really long week and it was a sleepless week, so if I stutter through some words, you'll have to bear with that. Now, when I bought this Mauser rifle, I want to be very sure that it's clear. The man who sold it to me, or rather traded it to me, gave me this box of Winchester Super Speed 8mm ammo. Now, this is fairly old ammo. The box is all worn. He had actually only given it to me with 12 out of 20 rounds. I shot 2 of them just to see how they shot. They don't feed well in my gun, so I don't use them. Maybe these will be a giveaway someday, who knows. Anyway, they are super old ammo, and as you learned last week with the Chinese video, a lot of 8mm that is available is old and not in the best condition. So I wanted to do this video today basically about what to do and how to shoot old ammo. So I'm going to set the Mauser aside, although I love this rifle, and this is the rifle I have the most old ammo for. I'm going to set it to the side for a second, and I'm going to use my Tokarev as an example, just because it's easier, and I have snap caps, so I can do it inside safely. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is inspect either in batches or all of the ammo each round individually. So this is an example of one round. It is an 8mm round, and I'll get a close-up picture of it if I can't show it to you here. You can see that there is a little dent in the case there. Now, I didn't feel safe shooting this ammo. If you did, you could. I didn't feel safe shooting this particular round, so I drilled it out and I just turned it into a snap cap. I know I just said I don't have snap caps for that rifle. This doesn't have anything in the primer pocket to soften that blow, and my Mauser has a really strong firing pin. I'll explain that some other time. So the first thing you'll want to do is inspect some of those rounds. Now, let's say you are on the range and something's happened. So I'm going to load up my magazine really quick with these snap caps, the Tokarev magazine, and all of my handgun ammo is locked away in the safe over there. The only ammo I have out is the 8mm, so obviously that's not going into this handgun that I'm about to dry fire a little bit. So I'm going to put it in here and close it. So let's say you're at the range. A few different things can happen when you shoot old ammo, and I'll talk about these in my videos. The first is you're aiming, and boom, goes right when you pull the trigger. That's what we want to happen. But let's talk about if that doesn't happen. So first off, that happens. It loads the next round. You just go if it's semi-auto. If it's a bolt action, you load the next round manually, and you keep on going. So let's say that when you do that, one of two things can happen otherwise. The first is nothing happens. So just like if I had a snap cap in there, pull the trigger, and it just clicks. Now, here's where this gets tricky. It clicks, but the firing pin hit the primer, and that round is live. What you don't know yet is if it is one of two things: a hang fire or a dud. So if it's a hang fire, and you saw that in the China in the video 2 videos ago, a hang fire is, so if I demonstrated, it would be boom. So click, firing pin hits the primer, and it takes a second. It's just a delayed firing. Those can be a little longer than you saw in the Chinese video. The other thing is a dud, where that's what happens. You click it, you pull the trigger, and nothing happens. The trick is you don't know which one of those it is. So you could just assume it's a dud if it doesn't go right away, but then you might end up having an accident with an out-of-battery detonation where the round explodes. So let's say this is what happens. So I pull the trigger, nothing happens, I rack the slide, and you see that round just came and hit me in the arm. What if that round would have exploded outside of the gun? There would have been shrapnel flying everywhere. There's a video with Ian McCollum and an in-range video with Ian McCollum and Carl, can't remember his last name, where that's what happens, and Ian gets a piece of brass lodged in his chest. You don't want that to happen to you. So what you do is you keep that gun pointed in a safe direction at the target, and you count to 30. And it's boring. So in my videos, I skip that part because you guys don't really need to see, you don't need to see me doing that. If I had delayed hang fire, I would do that. But so I'll hold it, count to 30, and then when I get to 30, what I will do is, if I had this gun, I would pull the hammer back. For the Mauser, because I still have it over here, let me just get this on a decocked. So the primer's down, or that's down, the striker. So I'm literally just going to cock it, pull it back just a little bit to make sure the round is in there. I do that, you don't have to, but basically you're just recocking it. Because the round might still be okay, the primer might have just not gone the first time. So I'll set the Mauser aside again for a second. So you just pull it back, basically get it re-ready to fire on the same round. So you do that, and you fire again. If it doesn't fire the second time, you still need to aim it down range for 30 seconds. But if it doesn't fire a second time, I'm going to ditch that round. You don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to ditch that round, and we're going to talk about the other thing that can happen. And that is a hang fire, which we already talked about a little bit. Pull the trigger, bang! So the danger there is basically if after you pull the trigger, the safe direction becomes unsafe for whatever reason. This is pretty uncommon if you're shooting at a range, but things happen, and basically you just want to make sure that, of course, since it's a gun, it's always pointed in a safe direction, but especially when you know there's a round in the chamber, you want to make sure it's pointed in a safe direction. For whatever reason, if that direction becomes unsafe, that's when accidents can go from bad to worse. So you want to be careful shooting older ammo for that reason, because you might have a hang fire that lasts longer than just a moment or two. In my case, where it's just a second, it's not that big of a deal, but let's say you have a hang fire 30 seconds away. Then things start to get tricky. So 30 seconds is the number I've always heard to count to make sure that you are safe there. So in summary, first, check the rounds, make sure that none of them have serious problems. Rust in certain places can cause issues in some guns. Cracks in the shell casing. Make sure the bullet's all good. Any of that kind of stuff. Second, when you fire, so when you pull the trigger and the gun doesn't fire, keep the gun pointed in a safe direction and count to 30, so that if it is a hang fire and not a dud, you know that the gun is safe. If it goes again, if it gets to 30 and it doesn't fire, you can try recocking the striker on a rifle, on a bolt-action rifle like that, or you can pull back the hammer if you have a hammer-fired gun. If you have a striker-fired handgun, you'll just need to rack the slide, pull it out. But then, you can try it again. Now, it's up to you if you want to try that 3, 4, 5 times. For my videos, I try it twice. If that doesn't work, I ditch the round, and then when I pull the bullets, I just use that round as one of the bullets that I pull. I've never had a round of the hang fires that I've had, which have been, not hang fires, of the dud rounds that I've had, which have been 4. I have not yet had one that has exploded, like, way later. I haven't even had one that's exploded later than 2 or 3 seconds of a hang fire. So I say that after you count to 30, that round is safe to get rid of or whatever you want to do with it. I pull the bullets, and I use that for when I collect the data. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this video has been helpful to you, I would love if you subscribed. I do a lot of content with old guns like this one. This is my 2447 Mauser, and I love it. Someday I'll do a full video on it, who knows. But if you want to see more videos about old guns, old ammo, so please subscribe.